Because I just have the Charles in Charge theme in like the song in my head, Joey. That's why. That's why I'm probably gonna forget all of this intro stuff that we're supposed to.
Okay. Why?
But now it's.
Where did that come from?
I've been rewatching Scrubs, and I totally
okay.
forgot. Okay. Let's back it up. Let's pull the curtain aside, everyone. What's up? Welcome to the.
You haven't been watching Charles in Charge. You've been watching Scrubs.
Scrubs, right? I've been watching Scrubs. And of course, Ted has that amazing a cappella band that in real life is called the Blanks, but they just call them, I guess, the Peons in the show, or Ted's band. And they got to the Charles in Charge theme, and I thought to myself, what a banger of a theme song for an a cappella group to do. I got a little jealous because you guys know I was in choir for the first week of my senior year, and then I was like, this is too dorky even for me, and so I stopped doing it. And that was one of the biggest regrets of my life because they had a great time, did a great a cappella show after that. Yes, Tim.
Just a quick question. I'm unaware of what Charles in Charge is. I have only heard about it through reference in rap songs, but it's never really clear. There's not that much context. Joey, do you know what Charles in Charge is?
I am assuming it's a TV show based on the fact that it has a theme song.
Okay, so I'm right there with you. Then I have no idea because I just want in one sentence what you think the pitch of the show is. Because to me,
this is so fun. Okay, yeah. What do you think, Charles? What's the one-liner for Charles in Charge?
I've always thought that Charles in Charge, from the limited context that I've heard in rap songs, is about a chimpanzee that goes to work.
Wow. Okay, that like Dunstan checks in or whatever it was. Yeah.
Interesting.
Joey, what do you think Charles in Charge is about?
I think it's about it's some form of like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead meets Freaky Friday, where there's a body swap thing, and now the dad's in the kid's body, and they have to like figure out how to deal with this. I don't know how that works in TV show form.
No, I mean that's a great guess.
Can I guess?
Yes, Andy. Oh yeah, we're gonna go around the table. Andy, what do you think?
I gotta assume Tony Danza plays Charles.
Wow.
And maybe mom and dad died, and Tony Danza's the oldest brother, and now Charles is in charge.
Oh, that's
Tony Charles. His full name Tony Charles.
Tony Charles Danza. They just call him Charles. Tony's just too hard to say.
Middle name basis, yeah.
Barrett, do you know what Charles in Charge, what the one-liner is for Charles in Charge?
No, because I only know it from the Scrubs reference.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, see, so mine was Family Guy. Like that's the only I only know the theme song from Family Guy.
So Charles in Charge was a show starring Scott Baio. This is where Scott Baio came from. He did
no shit. I thought it was Happy Days.
No, he was in Happy Days as well. He was also in a movie called Zapped. He was, and Johnny Loves Chachi. He was in that series as well. So he came from that, but I know him from Scott Baio or from Charles in Charge.
I'm
Johnny
sorry,
Loves Chachi. I think.
Yeah, that was a spinoff of Happy Days.
Yeah, that was.
Are you shitting me?
And if I remember correctly, it was a spinoff of Happy Days that also was a spinoff of Laverne and Shirley. Like a shared cinematic universe.
I want to say Laverne and Shirley was also a spinoff of Happy Days.
Wasn't Laverne and Shirley a spinoff of Mary Tyler Moore?
Maybe, because we're getting in the weeds. Okay.
Sorry.
Scott Baio, Chachi, right? Scott Baio comes to prominence, gets his own TV show. The TV show is called Charles in Charge, ran from I think 84, a couple gap years there, all throughout the 80s. The one-liner on this is Charles is a college student and gets hired as a live-in caretaker for a wealthy family's 3 children. But in lieu of salary, he gets room and board.
Parents are dead.
No, parents very much alive, just kind of checked out. And if memory serves correctly, and I was looking at this because I watched the intro for the first season. I was like, I don't recognize any of these characters because I could have swore that Nicole Eggert was in Charles in Charge. And the first season, she's not in it. Turns out they did the first season. And then the showrunners were like, we like Charles. We like his nutty friend, Buddy Lembeck. But we don't like the rest of the cast. So they literally brought it back 2 years later with a whole new cast except for Charles and Buddy. And the way they wrote it off was that he went back for summer. He left and went back home for summer vacation and came back. And the family had moved out and another family had moved in. But they had the same deal. So he just had to work for them.
That's wild.
It's wild. And they recast. It was 3 kids, but they recast them completely. It was like Nicole Eggert. It was another blonde. I forget her name. And then I think there was a little boy as well.
Charles
and then the mom was
Buddy.
And the mom was a single mom, so I think that was how they were like, we need a little bit of help. But when you go back and look at it,
But how old is he compared to the kids?
College versus high school. So it's completely inappropriate.
Okay, but really he's like 37, right?
In show years, probably yes. But if you watch it, Barrett, if you want to pull up the intro for the first for the first season theme song for Charles in Charge. You can mute it. We don't have to listen to the music.
Yeah, I don't want to
you guys want to sing along. But there's a couple scenes of Scott Baio shirtless. He's a full-grown man in this. And I don't know that I would necessarily trust him to be around my teenagers, per se. So this was the house, right? It's Charles in Charge. You can see that there's Charles. Hey, he's wearing a tie, so you know he's trustworthy. Another tie. A lot of ties we're seeing here.
He looks like
third tie.
He looks like he'd be cool to throw a football around with.
Yeah.
He looks like he's gonna join his dad for take your kid to work day.
It wasn't like a Fresh Prince situation where he comes from a downtrodden area and like moves in with Bel Air. I think he was just, I don't know why he needed the job. I guess
that guy looked like Tucker Carlson.
So I want you to look at this. These I don't remember any of these kids. There's Scott Baio jacked out of his mind. Would you let him hang out with your 16-year-old daughter? Probably not. That's Gwendolyn Pierce. That's the character's name. He was always after her, and I don't remember if he got her or not. Pretty sure he did.
Is she like part of the family, or is she just someone else?
She's a college. She's the one he kind of had a crush on in college. He was always sort of like doting on her and trying to get her to go out with him. But they just remained friends. But if we go to like season 2, you're gonna see it come. There's no orangutan in this one. You're thinking Any Which Way But Loose, which was a Clint Eastwood movie, or Dunstan Checks In, which I've never seen. Andy,
is there like a puppet of some sort?
That's Alf. You're thinking Alf. Very similar aesthetics. A lot of wood on the walls and on the floors in the
maroon
80s,
carpet.
A lot of sweater vests and ties.
At any point did Ralph Macchio have a dispute with maybe the movie theaters, and then Scott Baio was like, I can be him. I can be Mr. Miyagi, or what's his name, Danielson. Oh, because they look very similar.
They are very similar aesthetically, especially the thick, like darker hair. But I think that in the 80s, Scott Baio, of course, has gone a little crazy on Twitter the past few years.
Oh no!
But I think in the 80s, he at least respected the sanctity of the Karate Kid. Respected the sanctity of the Karate Kid.
Scott Baio's 61 years old. How old is Ralph Macchio?
Ralph Macchio's ageless, I think, is what we're looking at.
Oh my God, he's only 1 year younger.
Wow.
So the beef must have
been.
Well,
you have to imagine the person you're seeing here was like that intro was probably filmed in like 84.
I think what I'm just so blown away by, and I guess I have sort of the same feeling when we watch Top Gun, is like, that's a 60-year-old man. We have to understand that. When I see Ralph Macchio in Cobra Kai, I don't think that's a 60-year-old man. I think oldest 51. Oldest.
Yeah,
and a lot of it is a dyed hair.
He's got young
hair.
kids in the show. You probably don't think he's that old.
Very young kids, Joe. Yeah, like his daughter's like what, 15, 16 in the show?
But the son's even younger.
And he's 60. You're right. Oh my God. Ralph Macchio's getting it in late.
Now, I do have some updates for you guys about some clarification on the whole spin-off situation.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mary Tyler Moore show is its own universe. It does have spin-offs, but they're not related to Happy Days. They have Rhoda was
that's
one,
what I was thinking.
Phyllis was another, and then there was a 1-hour drama called Lou Grant. And then there was, in the year 2000, an ABC TV movie, Mary and Rhoda. Okay. But that's the end of the Mary Tyler Moore situation. Yeah. Okay. Happy Days goes a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Happy Days has 7 different spin-off series.
7?
Including 2 that were animated. Andy?
That's weird.
That's crazy. Like that, like I would have assumed maybe 2 max.
And it's about to get even fucking weirder when I start reading them to you. All right.
Okay.
One of them is Laverne and Shirley, which and somewhere back here I knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joni Loves Chachi. That makes sense as well, because that's like a spin-off of a spin-off type situation.
Again, I didn't even know that was a show. I just know that from Dodgeball, where Ben Stiller's character goes, Joni loves Chachi. Like that's the only that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Then we got the Fonz and the Happy Days Gang, which was an animated show. We also have another animated show that's Laverne and Shirley and the Fonz.
Wow.
But there's 2 more that I think are interesting. Oh no, 3 more, excuse me. One of them is Blonsky's Beauties. Don't know what that is. One of them's Out of the Blue. Okay. But the one that's blowing my mind here, Mork and Mindy.
Oh.
The Robin Williams alien situation. Yeah. I didn't know that was a Happy Days.
Yeah, he did a cameo or a few cameos on Happy Days. Yeah, and then they spun that off, which always kind of confused me because Happy Days was supposed to be set in a different time period, right?
'Cause
Happy
it
Days
the
was like
50s.
50s, and Mork and Mindy was supposed to be contemporary. I think that was set in the 80s when it was supposed to be set in present day. So I'm not quite sure.
So we're supposed to understand that we're supposed to believe that an alien in the Happy Days universe, aliens are real?
Yes.
Or was it a show within the?
No,
I don't think so.
I think he was an alien for real in Happy Days, and they were like,
What
everyone
the
liked his
hell?
character so
Like,
much
that
that way they
sounds
just spun him
crazy.
out. Yeah, and Jonathan Winters was his baby because if memory serves correctly, when Mork had a kid, the kids are born like Benjamin Button, and Jonathan Winters, so they're born super old, and then they get younger as they go. I could be wrong on that.
I can't
You
tell
can
if Nick's
fact check that.
fucking with us or not.
But
Well, dude, I
Robin
can't tell if
Williams
he's
loved
fucking with us.
Jonathan Winters, and so he cast him in.
Okay,
as
so-
is either his dad or his baby. I can't remember which one. It was.
So it goes even deeper,
dad
possibly.
or
So
his
Mork and
baby.
Mindy is set in Boulder, Colorado, in the then present day late 70s, early 80s, as opposed to the Happy Days setting of Milwaukee in the late 1950s. Mork explains to Richie that he is from the future.
Oh wow. Okay, that's good. They solved that. There's no retconning.
So there's also
Wow.
there's aliens
Yeah.
and time travel.
We got fucking Kevin Feige back in the day
Yeah.
doing his thing.
Andy-
That blows my mind. That
Andy,
just
I
blew
have a
my
question
mind.
for you. All right.
Uh-huh.
All the marbles are on this one. I will
Okay.
give you $10 if you can tell me what planet Mork is from.
More.
Sound it out.
I was thinking more Mars.
Mork is from the planet Orc.
Orc.
You got the wrong part of the word you committed to.
You almost nailed it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the KindaFunny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on these mics each to pretty much talk to you about old television shows that you probably have never heard of unless you too have watched Scrubs. Some housekeeping items for you right now. 10 a.m. Friday. We're starting it up. We're kicking it up. Merch month is here. We got 2 new cool things dropping. We got this badass bucket hat and this all-over print shirt that this gentleman is wearing as well. If you look close enough, we got all the little smileys there. Head on over to kindafunny.com/store and check both of those things out. There it is right there. If you look real close, those
It's
are
real
smiley
cool.
faces. They're very, very, very cool. It's our little logo right there. One of them, by the way, I have it on good authority. One smiley face is frowning.
Winking. Oh.
I was going to go frowning, but winking is a lot more positive. So check those out, ladies and gentlemen. We got lots of awesome designs up there. Also, shout out to our Patreon producers, Anonymous, Nathan Lamoth, Delaney Twinning, Parga getting married June 10th, Sing, Gordon McGuire, and
You
Fargo.
got married.
They just got married.
Congratulations. I hope it happened.
You know what? I'm so sorry. I'm changing that to got married.
And-
got married.
Nick, you owe
June
me
10th.
$50 because you ended up doing the housekeeping. Remember, you said you said I bet you $50 I'm not going to do it.
So here's how I
Oh,
will repay that
also,
debt.
I would
will
like
eat
the
all your popcorn.
Starbucks for correcting you on something on screencast yesterday.
It's called Dirty Dancing, Joey. That was the.
I
Dirty
couldn't
Dancing
remember
thing.
what exactly the bet was, but I still feel like I should get the Starbucks.
You have to remember the particulars if you want the Starbucks. First off, second off, Andy, I'll repay you your debt by eating all your popcorn tonight when we go see Lightyear.
They announced that Dirty Dancing 2 is coming next February, and Joey slacked me. We're going back and forth, and she's really upset that she's convinced that they're not going to show Dirty Dancing Havana Nights any goddamn respect. And we were talking about her goal in life should be and deserves to be the Kevin Feige of the Dirty Dancing cinematic universe, which makes me really excited to be able to think back and be like, wow, I want to think that Henry Winkler was the Kevin Feige of the Happy Days situation.
Wow.
Because
No.
they got that shit on lock, okay?
It would have been the showrunners, and I want to say it was Rob Reiner, but he wasn't. He just played Jughead on that. I forget who the showrunners of Happy Day were, but they knew.
Was
what
it
they
Gary
were doing.
Marshall?
It was Gary Marshall. That's right, because that's why I think Laverne and Shirley. Did we go over Laverne and Shirley?
Yes, that
They
is
came
Happy
out of
Days.
that, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Gary Marshall was Penny Marshall's
Brother.
I always thought it was her dad, and then I looked at him one day. I was like, they're very close in
No,
age.
I'm
There's
pretty
no
sure
way.
they're
I think they're siblings.
pretty sure they're
And, yeah,
siblings.
Gary Marshall, of course, has been in a ton of stuff as well. Tim from KindaFunny.
I need to drive this even more off topic than I already have. But growing up, I was confused on 2 things. The one most popular thing that I know I'm not alone on, this is definitely the Bernstein Bears type situation, was I always thought that Happy Days was shot in the 50s, not in the 80s,
Me
because
too.
I was watching it in the
Me too.
90s, and it was just like, cool. So there's that. The other thing is I was very stupid, and I remember watching Wayne's World, and they mock the end of
Scooby-Doo.
Thelma and Louise, where they drive off the cliff, right? I always thought Thelma and Louise was Laverne and Shirley. And so on Nick at Night, I was always waiting for the finale where they killed themselves.
Wow. No, the only thing that would have made them want to kill themselves is they worked in that stupid bottle factory that looked very monotonous. But even then, they did the glove thing where they waved goodbye. They had a good time. They made fun out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we got a couple sponsors of this incredible show. Today, we're brought to you by Spotify and Athletic Greens. We'll tell you about them later. We're also brought to you by youtube.com/KindaFunny. Hey, have you ever thought about subscribing to your very first YouTube channel? Well, KindaFunny has just the thing for you. Introducing youtube.com/KindaFunny, where you can see me, Nick Scarpino, every day on such awesome podcasts as the one you're listening to right now. Why not put a face to the name by subscribing to youtube.com/KindaFunny? While you're at it, buy yourself a snake. They're great. All right. I feel like we covered a lot of topics. We guys usually wrap this up right now.
It's a great show. See you later.
Tim, I hear you on that though, because do you want to talk about something that confounded me? Dirty Dancing. Joey brings this up. First off, shout out to Havana Nights. It's a terrible movie, but I'm glad it exists.
It's not great. I'm not going to be totally mad if they like
no, they should
retcon
retcon
it,
that.
but
Let's be honest.
It's kind of rude that they're just going straight to Dirty Dancing too.
They basically made a movie about dancing that had nothing to do with Dirty Dancing, except that they dirty danced together, and they just called it Havana Nights. It wasn't in the Catskills. It didn't have to do with Baby. It didn't have to do with Johnny. It was like the Grease 2 of the series, where it just should be thrown out the window.
God, I have no reference.
I just bought the Grease 2 Steelbook. Thank you very much.
How dare you? Or was it slippery?
Oh, so you were the one.
What?
Damn.
The one person? God damn.
Hold on, Andy. Rolling back here a little bit. Rewind here. You don't know what Dirty Dancing is?
I mean, it's a Kevin Bacon fucking.
Wow. Nope. Way off.
Wrong one.
Nope.
So Dirty Dancing was one of those. You're thinking Footloose. Dirty Dancing was one of those movies that I could have swore was shot in the time period, and then we get to the time of my life, and I'm like, that sounds like an '80s song, and it turns out it was made in the '80s, of course.
What? When you just told me I was wrong, my brain went, "No, that's Flashdance."
Oh, you're
different.
just a lot of dancing in these movies, but different types.
Can you blame me?
No, I've never seen any of them, Andy.
So first off, Flashdance is fine.
Does this mean we're doing Dirty Dancing in review? Can we confirm that for the people?
Nick,
Maybe.
can you rank the 3 movies right now?
Ooh, that's a great. Okay, yeah. So Flashdance number 3. I'm not a Flashdance fan.
And what is Flashdance?
Kind of Flashdance is just a.
She wants to be a dancer,
Jennifer
right?
Beals, not Jessica Biel. Jennifer Beals is a dancer. She's trying to get into a prestigious dance academy, but during the day to pay the bills, she's a steel worker who welds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know
Chris-
that
I
I've
think
ever
Chris
seen all of
Sarandon-
Flashdance.
Danielle loves it, and she watches it once a year, and I take a break. That's one of those movies where I'm like, I don't need to watch this over and over again. It's unlike Footloose, which is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Okay, wait. The 2000s movie with the blonde white girl and the black dude, and they dance.
Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last Dance. Not a remake.
But Jessica
Honey.
Biel.
Not in that.
Who's the blonde girl? Who's the blonde
Julia
lady?
Stiles.
Julia
Yeah.
Stiles. Fuck. I was thinking like that's crazy that Jessica Biel's in a dance movie, and so is this Jennifer Biel.
Well, I'm
No,
sure
but
at some
Cynthia
point
Rhodes in 2 of these movies.
Cynthia Rhodes was.
I'll get one of these one day.
Which is the movie with the iconic scene where
There's
they're
so
on
many.
the chair?
Doctor Trailers.
That's
in the water?
Flashdance.
That's
Okay.
Flashdance. So she pulls
With
the
the-
she pulls
with
the
the
water. The
pottery?
water comes down on her.
Ghost.
That's Ghost. We're going all over the place. So to rank those, to answer your question, Andy, and thank you for that, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go Flashdance. I'm gonna go Footloose, and then I'm gonna go Dirty Dancing because
That
nobody
is
puts
the
Baby-
correct order.
Nobody puts Baby in the
Wow.
corner. Nobody puts Baby in the
Exactly.
corner. And only
You
one of
can't
those.
not rank
Rank the last
Patrick
dance.
Swayze first.
You guys listen. Watching Patrick Swayze. Actually, I'm gonna stop. Watching my wife watch Patrick Swayze as he dirty dances on a young, impressionable Jennifer Grey, who was a megastar back then. She was awesome. Is one of the best
Wait.
experiences ever.
Is
Yes.
Jennifer Grey Ferris Bueller's sister?
Sister.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
In real life?
And fun
No.
fact about that.
She plays
They-
Jeannie in
Matthew
Ferris Bueller's
Broderick
Day Off.
And Jennifer Grey, during the filming of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, were dating.
No.
Yeah.
She was engaged to him and somebody else within the same month.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It's a small world.
Who was
Hollywood
the
is
other
small.
one?
And she got Charlie
wonder.
Sheen into that cameo for Ferris
Maybe
Bueller's
it
Day
was
Off
that.
because I think they were friends or they had done like Red Dawn or something together, and she was like, you should put Charlie Sheen, or maybe somehow he got big because of her, or she hooked him up with that. But she was a pretty big star back then.
Oh, it
And
was
then she
Michael
did
J.
Dirty
Fox
Dancing.
and Johnny Depp she was engaged to in the same month.
What a fucking player.
Here's what I'd like
What
to put a
badass.
bet on. I'd like to put $20 that Kevin calls him Patrick Swayze.
Oh my fucking god!
That's a pretty good bet, right? Like that's a pretty.
That's a safe
Can you
bet.
call him right now? What's the best way to prompt him to answer that question?
You just
The
put
guy from Ghost.
Put the word. Oh. No, okay, let's stop before we call him because we're gonna call him. Is it Swayze or do you think he's gonna pluralize it like he does everything? Swayze's.
Patrick Swayze's. The thing, okay, but here's the thing I hate about that is that he tries to pin that on the fact that English was not his first language, as if he learned English when he was 27.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Kevin, you've been like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but you've been speaking English for a long time, my guy. Like, you're not like, you weren't living in Spain for the first 28 years of your life, and then you came over here and had to learn English.
Yeah.
So, like, pluralizing things that aren't plural, it's just you being bad, Kevin.
If that's the only thing that Kevin did, I would let him write it off. But there's a lot of other things in the words.
Yeah, don't blame it
family.
on the culture thing.
But I don't know.
It all stems from Ozarks. I just want you guys to understand that.
Where's it?
He didn't used to pluralize things until Jason Bateman made that show Ozark. And when you refer to Ozark, the bodies of water, you refer to them as the Ozarks, which are a grouping of like smaller bodies of water. I forget what state they're in, or what state they span, but you would call them the Ozarks. The show is called Ozark, but Kevin learned the Ozarks first, and like a computer hell bent on destroying all of us, he just cannot possibly change. He cannot be talked out of it.
Ozarks. Should I call him
So
right
okay,
Yeah.
what's the prompt though? I want to get the prompt right.
I was just thinking like,
We have to trick. We have to trick him. We have to say, "Hey, we're having a debate right now, and we don't want to look it up. We're calling everyone we know. Who was the actor in Ghost?"
oh, I like that a lot.
Is Kevin gonna know that?
I mean,
Okay, yeah,
Point Break.
we need a
Who was
backup.
the
What's
actor in
another
Point
thing?
Point Break?
Okay,
No,
let's start with Ghost,
Okay, let's start with Ghost.
And then prompt with Point Break.
and then Point Break. If he says Keanu Reeves, then we're like the other one.
No, the other one, the guy that my brother had hair like when he was in college before he lost all his hair and gained weight.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
I love
Call's
this
going out. Call's going out.
This is gonna be great.
Kevin Coelho, you are on the Kinda Funny podcast.
Oh man, it's the first time. It's very exciting. Long time listener.
Yeah. So we've been quizzing everybody here on the show. You can't look it up. Don't look at a fucking computer.
I won't do today. You got me.
Because who is the star of the movie Ghost? The male star.
Patrick Swayze.
How do you say the last name?
Swayze?
Oh, he just
passed.
burned you, bro. He burned me.
He burned me, Kevin.
He passed.
I told the guys. Now here's the thing: we always knew it was Patrick Swayze, but I said I bet you $20 that Kevin thinks his name is Swayze, like an SH.
Nah, I got you. I knew that
He
one.
fucking got me. He fucking got me.
Joey to say that wrong. Come
Kevin,
on.
you passed, big dog. You passed, big dog. Congratulations.
Ask him how to say the
Big dick for
Ozarks.
me.
No, I'm not gonna ask him. But that was part of it. That kind of went like Swayze. Like it was almost there. It was almost there.
Kevin,
We had to
when
ask for
you're
clarification.
yeah, the thing about Kevin is as we get closer to Friday, the words start to slur a little
Yeah.
bit. The weekend is,
Understandably.
yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. Right now, I mean, spoilers, Kevin's at the new studio right now hooking up some control room items that we desperately need him to do because we're doing some load-in stuff next week, and we need some stuff in working order. So we're very excited.
I thought you were
Full
transitioning.
transparency. Yeah, just because I feel like we're talking more about the studio. We're still a ways off. It is not imminent. Just want
yeah.
everyone to know that. Spread the word, please, because I see the comments of like, oh, they're about to get back in the studio. We are not. You will know.
God, I
You will
wish.
very much know when it's going to happen, and it is not
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, a lot of
Right.
people thought that the studio was imminent because they saw Snowback Mike was down here, Nick. So on our subreddit, not only did people see that Snowbike Mike was working out of Kevin's office, but people had seen my Instagram story from the night that we all hung out, and I took a video of everybody, and it was you, me, Snowbike Mike, Kevin Asex, JD Neal, Washburn, and Kevin Coelho, and we're all just kind of hanging out in the town, drinking a lot of Margs, eating milk and cookies after.
I was there too, but I just wasn't part of that Instagram story.
Oh no, you had left already.
Yeah.
You had left without. I mean, real good Irish goodbye on Barrett's part.
I tried to get you in there too, because you're like, we'll probably get into it, but there was a moment where you're like, I don't want to spend more time here with the situation that Nick is about to put us in. And I was like, here's the plan, Andy. You and I go downstairs, we stand in that group for 10 seconds, and then we just slowly fade away in the background. And I told you this. I told you this plan, and I did
Kevin
exactly that plan, and then I was gone. I was out.
I didn't even need to fade away, but Kevin caught me. So we had a great night. With Snowbike Mike visiting, I got to meet JD, Neal, and Washburn for the first time.
That was pretty cool.
Friends
That's
of ours
wild that you guys hadn't met before.
Yeah, friends of ours that we're always on Discord pretty much every night, just shooting the shit and watching movies and playing games. So it was cool to finally meet them, and I've obviously seen Kevin Asex many times. But we all met up and went to the same spot that me, Nick, and Mike went to last July, which is basically a year ago. Crazy that it's been a year since the last time we had that big meetup where we first walked into the bare bones of our studio. And I went to the same spot because Mike really was craving those corn ribs, Nick. And unfortunately, this place kind of does these seasonal offerings.
No.
And the corn ribs were not on the menu, and it was so freaking sad. Neither were the wings, because this place was apt out of their goddamn mind. Usually you go to bars, Tim, and you expect, I'm going to get a bunch of drinks with shitty bar food.
Yeah.
The way Kevin Coelho and Mike and I sort of describe this place is like, it's definitely closer to a restaurant than most bars. The food is, I think, really damn good.
It's really good food.
And when we were there,
it's called Heritage.
Yeah. Okay, I thought it was the other one.
And we were waiting for Nick, by the way, who was in Oakland doing a comedy thing. And we got there, and Nick is like, "Yeah, I'm about to leave," and we're like, "Fuck, he's not gonna be here for another 45 minutes. I'm full as shit. I want to leave." We had some margaritas. We ate a lot of food. By the way, Kevin said the margaritas were really weak, and I couldn't really tell, but I'd figure they were weak because I felt like I should have just drinking water, Tim. We ate so goddamn much. Big ass sirloin steak the New York, it was so fucking delicious. Potatoes, all the fries we had so much food. And then of course at the end of the meal, Mike says, "I want to order the milk and cookies." And he looks and he sees that Kevin Coelho is outside. To not be the mediator or the manager of this situation, and Mike says, "We'll take 3 orders of the milk and cookies."
Oh my god!
And this place kicks ass with them, but not only at a bar, but after a lot of margaritas and steak and potatoes and shit. So I'm full as shit, but the milk and cookies come out and they are like freshly baked. They are warm, and they come, and then there's a little like a teacup, Nick, and it's
a little saucer.
I wouldn't say it's like, it's not just milk from a store. It's like a sweet cream kind of.
Yeah, it's like a vanilla cream. Like a thick vanilla cream.
It is so delicious, but it's also like not super chilled either. It's kind of like cool, I'd say, not not room temperature, but like cool. And you're supposed to just dip the cookies in there. Kevin has an empty glass of water that he had. Yeah, exactly. Kevin had a glass of water that he emptied out because he'd already drinking it, and he poured the cream into there and was just like cookies and milk, and it was a grand old time. But we're full as shit. We feel awful. What's up, Tim?
I'm so just jealous of you guys. I wish I was there. I love that I was having this like dual crisis of consciousness where me, Bless, and Greg are down in LA having the damn time of our lives at Summer Game Fest. And I felt bad. Yeah, exactly. There you go. It all comes back. But I felt bad because I wish everyone was there. Like, so we're all having fun together. I pull up my damn Instagram and I just see you turning around, seeing everyone. I'm like, Mike's there. I'm like, I am so jealous that I'm here right now, not with y'all motherfuckers. At 2:30 a.m., I get a text from Kevin that's essentially all caps like, "Tim, I can't wait to fucking talk to you. I have so much to tell you. We just had the best night ever." And I'm just like, I love that all of this is a thing. And it all goes back to one very, very simple word. and it is Margs. I don't know
Margs.
where this happened, but Nick Scarpino, not the biggest drinker of the bunch,
Right.
but once he started doing this comedy stuff, he started getting out there ordering his cocktails, as he likes to call them. And I've seen he started turning into he wants the nice Marg, the premium Marg.
It used to be Palomas.
I know.
And then it turned.
What's a Paloma, Joe?
It's tequila and grapefruit.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
can we call you
Achievement
Paloma
Hunter
Joe?
Live.
I feel like that's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Sure.
That's pretty bad.
You have to drink Palomas from now on, though, Joe.
I
Paloma
like
Joes.
them. That works out.
Yeah.
But at Achievement Hunter Live, we all experienced it where it's just like, oh shit, okay, Nick is now the Marg man. But like, is the Marg the official drink kind of funny for 2022? Because I kind of feel like that's the vibe.
Tim, that is a great question. And I think that question deserves an answer. But before I answer that question, ladies and gentlemen, how about a word from our sponsors?
This episode is brought to you by Athletic Greens. I've been using AG1 the last few months because I figured it was well past time I start thinking about vitamins, but I'm usually not the biggest fan of their format. So being able to drink a flavored water is much more up my alley. And I'm a huge fan here of the fact that it doesn't taste super healthy. It kind of has like this mild tropical taste to it that I look forward to every morning. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved only for big businesses to everyone. So upstarts, startups, established businesses, content creators alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. I love how Shopify has the tools and resources that make it easy for any business to succeed, from down the street to across the globe. Our content creator friends use Shopify to manage all their merch sales and stuff, and I recently got Gia a pair of Allbirds from the Allbirds website, which also uses Shopify. So that's an example of big websites using Shopify for their sales. You can gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting on conversion rates, profit margins, and to help you supercharge your knowledge of your sales and your success. You can go to shopify.com/KFgames, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial, and you can get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/KFgames right now. That's shopify.com/KFgames for a free 14-day trial. Shopify.com/KFgames.
That was a really good transition, Nick.
Thanks, Barrett. So here's what I'll say about the Margs, right? It's first off, the word Marg comes from the etymology of that word is short for margarita. Just in case.
How do you say that word, by the way?
Etymology. Entenmann's Donuts. I like saying that word because it makes me think of the Entenmann's Donuts, which makes me think of the Entenmann's cake that you get. That's kind of got like the cream cheese in the middle.
I don't think there's an N there. I think this is etymology.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andy.
It sure is. Yeah, that's why I asked.
How do you say
Ents
it?
are the tree people.
It's just
right?
etymology. ETY.
Etymology. Okay,
Yeah.
etymology.
a lot of word,
Great. Yeah, what's funny is Andy was like, "How do you say that word?" And I was like, "Oh, Andy must know how to say this word." And then even Andy had to look it up. So you gave me shit, but then even you didn't know the answer to that.
I was
That is the
pretty
most
sure.
kinda-
I was pretty sure. That's why.
Most kind of funny thing ever.
Wheelbarrow.
I was out with me and the missus were out with a couple of our friends, and we were like, we should get drinks. We were at a Mexican restaurant, and when my friend's wife said we should get some Margs, and I'm like, that word, shortening it, brings such happiness, like a smile to my face. This just feels like happiness, right? Have you ever been in a situation where margaritas didn't bring a smile to someone's face? You see that picture of margarita come to the table, and you just go, you know what? Why not? Why not?
And I
Exactly.
honestly, I think the craving started for me because much like Nick, I am not the drinker of the group. Like I've had this fucking half bottle full thing of Brugal that Danny Pena gave me for Hispanic Heritage Month in like 2021, maybe. Yeah, maybe 2020. I don't know. But I just don't really drink a lot. It's just not my vice. My vice is just snacks, right? That's where I get
love
my fix. But one day I just kind of like, I think it was maybe after a year of quarantine. I was like, man, by now I would have gone out at least once. Like there would have been one outing, and when we are out, I love getting a spicy marg. I love the marg with the
Mark
hint
Simpson,
of like
that's what they call that.
Marg Simpson. You get you get the hint of jalapeno in there,
Yeah.
and it's like
Little
it's got a
habanero or
kick
whatever
to
it
it.
is.
It's so freaking delicious. And I don't think the marg consumption really began until last year in July, Nick, when we all kind of got together. I was like, margs are kind of the thing. They're the wave. Jump on board. You
Get
know?
on board. It's what's old is new again. I will say the key to it though is to get a slightly better tequila in there than you think you deserve, than you think you're worth. That way you don't get super hungover. Because if you drink a marg that's well tequila, two of them are going to hit you and you're going to get that sour feeling in your stomach and you're just not going to be out. So the key is to spend at least $17 per marg, if not more.
Wow.
If you can afford it, get out there,
Wow.
put $17 on the table. If not, $27 where you want to be. That's right where you want to be.
That's a lot of money.
I want to just clarify a couple of things. So from my side of the story, Mike's in town. Now, Mike being in town, 50-50 shot if he's gonna come, if he's gonna
Actually
arrive,
gonna come, yeah.
if he's gonna stay. Sometimes Mike has been known for driving in for one thing and then he just drives right back.
Because I immediately am flashback to Achievement Hunter Live when
we had no
we
idea.
just assume he's gonna come down. And it's like, Mike, when you headed down, it should be whatever night, you know, blah blah blah. And then
Even this time, wasn't he supposed to come down on Friday and then he came down Saturday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the questions start to pop in that give you a little pause where he'll be like, and so Andy, like you like these Achievement Hunter guys? Like they're good good dudes. And it's like, all right, he's looking for a reason to not show up, right? And that's just what you kind of assume. You always assume that there's an angle being taken where he's kind of just like laying the little seeds of doubt so that you're not too surprised when the eventual Discord message pops up at 11:58 when he was already supposed to be on the road that says, Mike's not going to be gone.
Yeah.
He refers to himself as the third person.
Third person?
And says,
Okay.
Mike will not be there.
Yeah. It helps.
Fantastic.
It helps because he knows he's doing something wrong. It helps him dissociate from that when he refers to himself.
Absolutely.
Of course, he knows he's letting us
Absolutely.
down. So the fact that Mike's even in town, I'm like, I gotta move heaven and earth to come and see him. Now I had offered to the Jabroni boys. I was like, come out to Oakland. I got a cool little bar out here that I'm doing a show at. There should be plenty of room. You guys can drive out here and come see my show. We can hang out afterward, find a bar in Oakland, or drive back. I knew there was no possibility that this was going to happen, but I just thought I'd float it. Now, meanwhile, my friend reaches out and says, hey, I had a dropout on my show in the Mission. Do you want to do my show tonight? Now, this is at a place called the Valencia Room, which is a badass bar with an upstairs venue. I'm like, oh, I want to do this. But I also told, anyway, I ended up doing that show, and then I head over to Oakland. I probably should have just canceled the Oakland show and had you guys come out to the Valencia Room because we could have partied at Mission the whole time. But Mike, being the creature of habit, texts me. Actually, he has Kevin SpaceX text me because Mike, I don't think has my phone number, and goes, hey, we're at this bar. We're not coming out to the Oakland thing. It's too far for us. We're going to be at this bar. And of course, I'm like, Mike only knows two things in San Francisco. He knows Heritage Bars and what's that burger place over in Westport? Caliber. That's all he knows. So I'm like, it's no shock to me that we're at the same place. Now this neighborhood we're in is I guess it's the Richmond, right? And it's not the most happening of scenes.
No, by no means.
Closes down on a Friday or Saturday night, probably around 8:00. You're not getting too much more there unless you go to one of two places.
In his mind, he thinks it is though.
Because he doesn't know any better, because he will not let me bring him to North Beach or to the Marina or to any of these places where people actually go.
I don't know if Mike needs to go to the Marina.
Mike would love the Marina first off.
The thing is, I think because the last time he was here, Tim, Mike got it in his head that this was the spot that is kind of like bumping at night. It's like there's a couple of spots, there's a couple of bars, it's a residential area. This is largely a residential area. There's a lot of families. There's a lot of just like people that have their 9-to-5 jobs and they go shop at the market when they get out of work.
There's
and
a
then
lot
go
of places
home.
that I like to go to because no one goes there. You know?
Yeah, it's never loud or crowded. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, but I'm like, I'm coming. And the second I hit that text, this is maybe 10:15. I text, I'm coming. I can feel I can feel the audible sigh on the other end of that phone. I could, and part of me was just like, I knew that Andy was there, and I knew he was gonna be like, "Fuck, I have to wait at least until Nick gets here."
There was definitely more than a sigh from all of us that were like, Nick just said he's on the way. We're like, God damn it, bro.
Yeah.
What? We've been done for like 28 minutes.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my
but I will
God.
say, Nick, you did get there faster than I thought you would have.
I mean,
Impressive.
there's
I
no
was
traffic in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
at
'cause I
fucking
was-
10:15 at night.
I was convinced that Andy was going to go home before you even made it. Maybe I even had out.
I
before
mean,
you
that was a
made it.
good Barrett. I was looking for every
Yeah.
fucking opportunity.
I was driving fast. I was driving fast because I knew where the tables turned. If I saw that, I would have just ghosted. I'd have been like, I'm leaving. I'm not waiting for any of you guys. It's too late. It's too much time. All the food, all the alcohol. We already had our fun. But I also knew that I'm me. And I had a specific glint in my eye that night. I was like, I came here to party. It's been a hard couple weeks. We've been I've been moving boxes and shit and cleaning things and all that stuff. I'm ready to tie a couple on. I walk in. These jabronis are the only people there. It's one of those situations, Joey, where the guy's like mopping underneath them and all the chairs are up on the table and they're crushing the last plate of milk and cookies, which I ate 2 of because there was 2 left.
They were
I walk
real
in and
good,
say,
huh?
"What's up?" Barrett, coat on already, mask on, ready, 1 foot out the door. Says, "What up, Nikki?" And I'm like, "You're not leaving yet. We're going to another bar. We're gonna have 1 cocktail." So we go to one of Barrett's, what I assume is your favorite bar, because you beeline right there. I was like, let's go to the one that's crowded. And Barrett's like, I am not doing that right now. We're going to a chill bar.
The bar I took you guys to was like
Great bar.
It wasn't like crowded, but it was still popping off a little
It was
bit.
perfect.
The one that was recommended to us by the
bartender.
person that was waiting us is definitely like a very particular vibe that I didn't know that like all of the jabroni.
It was
bars
the
would've
wrong
been-
vibe.
Yeah,
Barrett said it was like a biker bar.
Yeah, it was the wrong vibe.
yeah, it's
We
like
walked- we
definitely
walked
like an
past it.
older, like almost biker vibe for that one for sure.
Yeah.
Because he
What
kind of like
bar?
he beelined vocally to it of like, hey, this place opened back up. Go check. Maybe like he's got friends working there, and he kind of
Yeah,
like
he's getting
I don't know.
Yeah, and
He-
that's why I was surprised he recommended it too. I was like, I don't know if that's, you look at us and that's the vibe that you're going to recommend. That's interesting.
yeah.
I don't want to say the bar out loud because I don't want to, get too
Right.
specific.
Yeah, we don't have to go too crazy about it. But so we end up going to a more chill bar, and it ends up being the right call because it's very good vibe. I compliment Andy. You appreciate this. I complimented the bartender on how low the music was in this bar. I was like, hey, I just want to tell you something right now. I like your choice of music, but even more, I like the fact that it is at a very low decibel level. And she goes, that's by design. I don't understand why they play loud music in bars. And I'm like, I don't either. You're getting a big tip.
That's also really smart just to kind of lay the foundation of like, in case you think about raising this shit,
Right.
you understand that I like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, okay, Mike's in for this. I'm looking around. I'm like, I think Mike is the only one excited to see me here. Andy and Barrett are standing
Sick of
outside.
you,
Kevin,
yeah.
they're done. They don't want Kevin's down for it, but Kevin's always down for anything.
Here's how excited I was for this next place. I ordered a soda. I wanted a Coke.
He was.
I was so full and like the most bloated that I've ever been ever. Of just like I had so much. Not only did I have like a big ass steak with all the potatoes I ate and all the fries I had appetizer wise, but then I
Get
added
some
some
milk and
cookies in at the
cookies.
end with milk.
Dude, oh, that was so
And I was
good.
like, just give like I want to drink on something, but I don't want alcohol right now. Just give me a fucking soda. And like we talked about this on the stream, and some people in the chat were like, "Oh, so y'all were drinking and driving?" Please understand, y'all, that like such little alcohol was had and so much food was had that there wasn't even I think it's the most sober I've ever been. So please understand that. Like after I had those margaritas and all that food, it's like Kevin already said the margaritas were weak. I think the food made it even less. Like it went into negative drunkenness, and I was just like, I'm so full. I just want to go home and sit down because I can't even be. I don't even walk around right now.
Also, people don't generally drink and drive in San Francisco. That's why God made Uber. But I'll tell you what happened next, and this is my favorite part of the night. So I'm here. I'm in the energies here. Me and Mike are vibing. I'm like, Mikey, we'll have a couple more cocktails, catch up. It'll be super fun, right? But everyone's like, we're done. We all walk outside. Barrett has been gone for a solid 30 minutes. He didn't even say bye. He was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Tapped out, and I respect that, Barrett, because that's the old Nick Scarpino way of
And
handling shit.
I knew I only wanted to be out for a little bit. We had just been out on a trip to Cleveland recently, so I wasn't trying to be out around people for super long. But I had a couple drinks, and I didn't make the mistake of having a couple drinks on top of like a big meal and stuff.
Yeah.
Because those cookies that I didn't have milk with, they just hit so well.
They fucking hit.
I didn't feel bloated on my way home. I felt
they're
great.
like homemade cookies.
Dude,
like
it
you
was
order
so
them and
good.
they take a little while because we have to throw them in the oven, and they come out like right out of the oven with the milk.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
We'll have to get
I want some of these, man. Let's go.
to wrap this story up, I'm like, Mike, let's go across the street. There's a couple bars over there right next to each other. We'll go to the. I'm thinking. I look at the one. There's 5 people in this tiny little bar. It's super quiet. I'm like, we'll go in there. We'll have one more cocktail, catch up with your life, and then I'll get you an Uber. You go home, you eat some food or whatever. I'll go home and do my life. Mike's not about that vibe though. So Joey, let me explain to you these 2 bars. These 2 bars. This is like you couldn't have.
I know what bars they are.
Yes, you couldn't have put 2 more polar different bars right next to each other that share a wall. One was this sleepy little sports bar where it's just nothing but regulars sitting in a bar. The other one, 90s hip hop night. So loud. So loud. And I am trying my hardest to look cool in front of Snowbike Mike, but I'm also like, I do not want to go in there. It is way too loud for my age bracket. I'm going to complain about it the entire time. I don't want to dance. I'm not going to get sweaty. I'm not going to do any of these things. Kevin walks up to the guy at the door, and he comes back, and Mike comes back with him and goes, we're not going in. It's like a $5 or $10 cover charge. We're not going in there. Actually, that's what Kevin said. But Mike's like, I really want to go in there because I love this music and I'm feeling the vibe of this place. I'm trying to push everyone to go into the other bars so I can just hear, because it's hard for me to hear. And then Kevin goes, I don't want to go in this place unless I don't want to pay cover charge. We're not going to this place to pay cover charge. And of course, this is one of the bars where I've done comedy before. Of course, like a dumbass, I look over to see who's at the door, and it's my friend Hanaton. And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He goes, oh, these guys with you? Oh, you guys can come in for free?
No, Nick. And I was like, fuck yourself.
So Kevin Coelho pulls me aside. He's like, that's the coolest fucking thing you've ever done. Meanwhile, in the back of my brain, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why did I even try this? And as he's stamping our wrists to go in, my friend was like this, damn, you're rolling deep tonight, dude. I don't even know it was that many people. I was like, you can cut this off at any time. You can tell us we got to go at any time. But it ended up being fun. And we ended up having 2 more cocktails there and listening to some great music. And the energy was good. And it was cool. And then I got home and I got 2 pieces of pizza and a piece of cheesecake.
Well, hold on. I thought we were going to talk about what happened at the first bar, because we're at the first bar. I have my soda. We're all upstairs throwing darts. And there's a
actual darts.
There's a
darts.
Throwing darts. And there's a table of ladies near the front of the bar, and Nick is like, Mike, let me go introduce you to them. Let me wingman you right now. Let me do my wingman thing. Because Nick is very personable, very social.
I'm an excellent wingman. I'll just say that right now. And I don't get to wingman at all ever because everyone usually is shackled up with someone and or never calls me out of retirement to do this.
Yeah.
So this was the equivalent to, in my opinion, guys, to put it in terms, to contemporary terms, this is my opinion, is the equivalent to Tom Skerritt saying, if nobody will be your wingman, give me a call. I'll fly with you anytime.
Sure.
Maverick,
Sure.
the original Top Gun.
Love it.
And so essentially he takes Mike down there and we're just watching him. And they're just talking, and I'm like, Nick is so like personable too, and I tell JD and Wash all the times that like we have a waiter, and Nick starts like doing a thing with the waiter, like doing his and then me and Tim lock eyes, and me and Tim kind of do it like, Nick's doing his thing right now. It's funny as hell. And then we go back upstairs, and Mike goes, we're like, what happened? And Mike goes, well, Nick opened up the conversation with, hey, what do you think about my friend's mustache? And Mike goes, and for the next 4 minutes, they're just roasting my mustache. It was incredible.
It was incredible. It was great.
It's like everybody's like taking shots at me, and that's all it was. And we were like, all right, cool. And that was it. And then what happened? As we're all kind of making our ways, I'm planning my exit. My exit strategy. I see it, like I fucking see it, Nick.
I gave it to you, Andy. I literally gave it to you.
I'm tunnel visioning it, and I walk by everybody because it seems like everybody like they're trying to hunker down, and I'm like walking out the place, and then Kevin goes, Andy, like Kevin wants me to go mingle with these women, right? Like Kevin, like very much like Andy, get in there. And I'm walking out, I look at him, I go, I'm gonna smoke. And he's like, you don't fucking smoke. And I just like, and I left the vision, his cone of vision, to like the side of the place. And I just stood out there for the remainder of the time, so, until everybody eventually walked out, and I made my way back home. But yeah, I thought that moment was like there was a moment where he kind of believed me, because he knew that Barrett had already walked out, and I was like, I'm gonna smoke a crack, and he was like, oh, fuck you, you don't smoke.
Yeah, maybe he knew that you don't smoke by the fact that normally people do this. You're like full on. God,
I love it.
Oh man,
I need to admit something to you guys.
Yeah,
because meanwhile, this exact same night, right? We're out at this rooftop party down in LA. It's Summer Game Fest, and it's like Shuhei's there, Tamora's there, Lucy James, a ton of our friends, right, from the games industry, having a great time. Catched up with a lot of people that I haven't seen in 3 years. It's fantastic. Even people like Lucy and Tam that live in SF, but I don't see them here. So it's like I see them there and it feels different, right? But I'm looking at my watch, right? And I'm like, okay, it's like 11:45. And guys, I did something that Tim Geddes has never done ever until this moment. And I was like, in my mind, I didn't tell anyone this. I'm like, I'm going to finish this drink and I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
That is unheard of.
Congratulations.
And I did it.
Well,
That
that's
is
what I did.
shocking.
I just left.
Mhm.
And it
So
felt,
proud of
feels
you.
great.
it felt
So good.
good. You know?
Hold on,
Don't turn into one of these guys
I'm
now.
not. No, Joey, don't worry. Don't
Okay,
worry. You
good.
still got me.
We'll cover
But
the dark side, Tim. Come to the dark. It's so, the dark side over here, Tim. It's so relaxed,
It's
and
so
we're better hydrated.
Shut
We're
up, Barrett. You're acting like you're not right there with me at last call every single opportunity we get.
But I do also very regularly, maybe not with you, but very regularly will do the like, all right, I'm gonna drink this drink and I'm gonna get the fuck out.
I think
and,
Barrett
like
understands the benefits a lot.
because because here's the thing, Andy. It's like I came home that night, and I came home and I played some video games. It wasn't like I was
Yeah.
coming home and I'm like,
Oh, dude.
I need to fucking pass
Listen.
out and like do all this stuff and prep to not have a hangover the next morning. Like it was just like nothing happened. It's like I didn't.
I think that was the better part of it, is that I didn't feel drunk at all, and I didn't have to come home and be like, oh fuck, let me get some water in me. Like it was nothing. I just sat down. I was like, all right, I'm gonna open up some video
You
games.
guys know there's like a middle ground of
Yeah,
drinking.
you don't have
where
to-
you
no,
can
you
go
don't-
and
it's one or
not
the
feel
other.
like you're
It's
gonna
one
throw
or
up
the other with
immediately.
me.
No, but like when I think of the other side of it, I think of being in Tim's situation where we're at a convention, and that's where I will likely let loose more, where it's like I don't have to find a way home. I don't have to really necessarily think about my safety. I could I know
Is
that tomorrow
is that
like,
the thing, the
in my-
barrier that's
in my mind, Joe, I'll be like, I don't have a panel until 2 p.m. I'm going to get hammered tonight. I'm going to drink, and by hammered, it's like, I'm going to drink maybe 4 drinks instead of 3. Like, cause I'm
like-
very much a lightweight at this point in my life.
It's just funny to me because you don't have a panel till 2:00 tomorrow. You can have 4 drinks. Versus what were you doing on? You guys had work on Sunday, I guess.
Yeah.
you the pass on
Yeah, we had the
We
Xbox
did.
thing. I had to
Yeah.
wake up early.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
fuck
give you-
yeah.
I'll give you the pass on that then.
And I've been trying to wake up earlier and be a better human being, because what have I been doing a lot my whole life in quarantine? We have the stream at 10:30. I'm awake at 9:59.
Yep.
And I look sleepy and I sound sleepy on stream. And generally, I still do, don't get me wrong, but I've been trying to wake up earlier, and then I get on that fucking Beat Saber and I'm fucking and I'm fucking doing
It
Beat
honestly
Saber in the morning.
scares me when I hear Andy up and about before noon, because I'm like, who the fuck is in our house?
Who
Yeah.
is this person?
There's an
This
intruder.
interloper.
Look, I want to go around the table right now.
Mhm.
On average, like let's just say like the average of out of 7 days a week, what time do you guys wake up? And I'm not talking about like when do you set your alarm, like just when do you wake up?
On average, weekday or weekend?
That's what I'm saying. Like just kind of like when does your body wake you up?
Oh,
7 in
I
the
mean,
morning.
that's too tough, Tim, because I the alarms will wake me up nowadays at 8:30 on the weekdays. And on the weekend, it's a fucking
snooze fest.
It's a disaster. Like there are times where it's like, I'm sleepy. I'm gonna call it early, and by early, 3:20.
Yeah.
Like 3:20 would be considered early for me, and then I would wake up at noon, maybe 11:30. But if I decide against that, then it's usually I'm up until 6:30, 7 in the morning. Wake up at 2:30 p.m. Feel like shit. Fucking stay in bed.
God, it's like college, man.
Dude. Oh my God, my Saturday was an unmitigated disaster. My Saturday, I woke up like at noon, and then I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm in bed, watched a couple episodes, fell back asleep, woke up, watched a couple more episodes, fell back asleep, woke up. It was 5:20 or some shit like that.
Christ.
It was awful. And I get in this state where it is, I am no longer in control of my body. Like, and it pains me to say that. It kind of reminds you like when somebody talking about depression. I don't think this is depression. I just think it's like, I tell myself, you're going to get up, you're going to go to the fucking gym, you're going to go on a long walk. And more often than not, I do that. But there are times where it's like, I cannot physically leave this space right now. I don't want to be anywhere except right here in this bed watching this thing. And that happened to me after watching fucking the Thor. Watch Thor during work hours for the in-review. And I was like, once I'm done with this movie, I'm going to get the fuck up. Nope, I didn't do any of that shit. Took a nap. Like, because I just physically couldn't leave this space because it's so goddamn comfortable. And I turned the AC on, and I was like, it feels so comfy. It feels so comfy once I get a little swaddled in. What is your average time, Tim? Has it been getting earlier and earlier?
It has, and I wish that I could do a podcast with my Game Over Greggy show episode 5 self, and just be like, you ain't gonna fucking believe a whole bunch of shit. But the wildest thing is your body's just gonna wake up at 7 a.m. every fucking day.
That's crazy.
And it's like there was a while where I was like, oh, it's because of the dogs. And then, oh, it's because G. Oh, it's because this, whatever. I'm realizing as I just spent a weekend away for the first time in 3 years at a hotel where my call times, they were like fairly early. They were like 9:30 or something like that. But like, I was just up at 7. Doesn't matter how late I stay up. Doesn't matter, whatever. I'm just fucking waking up. And I hate it, you guys. This isn't the person I want to be.
But it probably was at first. It probably was at first, like the dogs and like I'm assuming like when G gets up to get ready for work and stuff, because that's started happening with me in the last year as well. Of like I don't know when it started, but for whatever reason, I could usually sleep in past like when Alyssa leaves for work. But at one point, my body was up like 5 minutes every day before she left for work. And now it's just no matter what, even on weekends, I am up at 7 a.m.
No.
And dude, like I'm right there with you with the sense, Andy, you talk about 12:30 or whatever. It's like, y'all know, you know me for years at this point. Like that used to be my dream would be having nothing to do on a weekend. It's like, what do you want to do today? I'm like, just let me sleep. And I would wake up at 1 p.m. stoked about it. I can't remember the last time that I slept past 10 a.m. Like, definitely not. I mean, honestly, like, I can't think of the last time I slept past 8:30. I'm
such a degenerate, Tim, that when I'm up by 12, I think to myself, man, I got the whole day ahead of me.
I'm up pretty early.
It's crazy, Nick. And I've been able to feel that feeling on the off chance that, like, I think, like, the last time I had maybe some sort of appointment, or maybe I took my car in to get service at like 8:30 a.m. It was one of those like just early things on the weekend. I was like, let me schedule it super early. And I was like, damn, I got the full day ahead of me. But I legitimately get that feeling when it's 12:48 p.m. I'm like, man, the world is my oyster. It is not even 1 p.m. And it's like, and that's how people must feel at 9 a.m. like normal people. But I am on the other side of that spectrum. And I see these TikToks that'll be like, here's why we like staying up late at night. And part of it is like, you don't want tomorrow to start, so you're putting that off as long as possible.
100%.
I don't even think it's that. I just like I feel at peace. I feel it's quiet, and I get a lot of work done. Oddly, like I've been working on this fucking Kinda Funny shirt for the last 2.5 years. It feels like, and I work on that like at 4 in the morning. I'll just like open up an Illustrator, and I just get to work, and I just feel really productive at that time. I don't know why.
I'm
No,
with Andy.
I feel that. Yeah, no, and I'm right there too. Like even nowadays, it's like when I'm in the zone, I feel like the night's the best time to like be in the zone. But I do think it's really funny that my TikTok algorithm is like, hey Tim, like here's this funny Pomeranian, or hey, here's this dope home theater shit. Andy's is, what are excuses for why I'm staying up so late? Like they got you fucking numbered, bro.
I'm right there with you, Andy. Like I've always had, like my nighttime has always been. I look forward to it. It's the time where it's quiet. When I am doing work, I'm very locked in. I'm obviously doing comedy at night, so that's a little different now. But I'm used to sort of my work day being going till like 10 o'clock. So when I get home, it's nice to have a break from like 10 to 2 a.m. Just have the 4 hours to decompress. And lately I've been trying to get to bed by midnight because I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't be because it's slippery slope. Like 2 a.m. it's 2:30, it's 3 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock I'm kind of hungry again. I should break out those goldfish.
The worst.
Break out those goldfish at 3 a.m. So I've been trying to set a schedule with myself where it's like in bed or getting ready for bed by midnight and then up no later than 9 a.m. in the morning. Because I feel like as a reputable, adult business owner, 9 o'clock in the morning is not a hard ask.
No,
but
not at all. Especially considering that, like, at any other place of work, I
have to be there by 9 o'clock.
I was waking up at 6:40 or 6:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember thinking of this at the old studio when we had to be there by like 9:30. I'm like, dude, I must have had to wake up at like 8. I don't even remember what my schedule was back then.
Yeah, and like especially like I was trying to think of this recently too, of like, man, what time was I waking up? Because like I didn't get to drive to work. I had to take the bus as well. That's the other thing where I'm like,
I've been giving myself such a hard out on stream nights because I would just get in such a bad rhythm where I thought ending the stream at 10:30 was a good idea, and then I would take about 30 minutes to decompress, and then I would set the video to render on Premiere, and I would cut it down, chop it down, render it. The render would be done by like 11:45, and then I would start the upload, and I would go take a shower. When I came back, I would do the thumbnail, and by the time all that is over, it's 1:30. And I'm like, this is not a good fucking thing for me to be doing.
No.
Like, I need to start this process way earlier. So I've been like trying to cut off the stream at 9:30, an hour earlier. And it's definitely been helping out a lot. I feel like whenever I do end a stream, I always feel like I need that decompression time. I can't just go straight to the shower. I need time. It almost feels like the end of a workout when you just kind of want to sit there and just kind of like, let me catch my breath and collect my thoughts and shit. And I feel like I've been trying to be better about putting myself on a schedule for things like that, because I have no other sort of structure in my life aside from that.
That's been one of the unfortunate, downsides to all of the pandemic. But that's why I think it's important. Me personally, I'm like, I got to put myself on a little bit more of a stricter regimen when it comes to sleep, just because eventually, no date in sight, as Tim has mentioned, but eventually, the idea is to all be going back to the studio, or at least I'm going back to the studio because my wife wants me out of the house. So that's what that is.
And again, like this all started because we were reclarifying that the studio was not close.
Exactly.
Mike was only here because Washi and JD were visiting from Texas, and so Mike drove down.
We needed to get some cookies.
Yeah, we needed some cookies
milk.
and Margs. Yeah, and milk. So cookie and Margs and milk.
Because nothing goes together.
Yeah,
quite like cookies, warm milk, and tequila.
After
a giant steak.
Yeah, after a big steak.
And they ended up doing the sightseeing thing. Like they went to Alcatraz, and Mike hates Alcatraz. Mike was talking how he he was like, I'm gonna be giving the tour guide a tour because I played Warzone a lot. I play Rebirth Island,
Yeah.
and
Okay,
so I
what-
know all the
what-
spots.
What history did he learn from playing those games?
Exactly. I think the history that he learned was
Birdman
that
and
like
Alcatraz.
a bird shit in his eye, and he wasn't very happy about that.
Mike said
Is that
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, bird shit in his
bird shit
eye.
in his
Yeah.
eye.
I
then-
thought that he didn't like Alcatraz, but I didn't get the reasoning why.
Yeah, it's never complex with Mike. I'll also say this as we wrap this podcast up right now. This has been a banger, by the way. Tim, I have good luck naming this one. But I will say that I'll tell a
And
story.
Andy, better luck making the thumbnail.
I know.
This is my favorite. This will wrap Snowbike Mike up perfectly. Kevin told me a story. They were supposed to get dinner that night of Alcatraz, and I guess the dinner was scheduled for 5. And Kevin gets a text from Mike. Kevin's like, "You still good for dinner at 5?" And Mike's like, "Yeah, I'm on my way out to Alcatraz." And Kevin goes, "It's 3:00 right now, Mike." And he goes, "Yeah, why? Is this gonna take a while?" And Kevin's like, "Yeah, it's probably gonna take a few hours, man. Like, you got to get out there, you got to walk around, you got to come back, you got to make it all the way across the city to where dinner was supposed to be scheduled." And Mike's like, "Oh."
Oh.
Kevin's like, "I guess I'll just push it back."
Mike's not coming to dinner.
Yeah, Mike ain't gonna make it.
Mike's not gonna be there.
Mike's not going to be there.
Oh, Mike's not going to be there. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike will be there for you on a future episode of this podcast. But hey, this one's been a banger. Thank you guys so much for listening all the way through. Remember, if you're listening to this podcast, come over, check out some of our videos over on youtube.com/kindafunny. And hey, if you think about, you're thinking you're wanting to throw us a couple bucks there because we're doing an A-OK job, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny where you can back us at any tier. Every bit counts. We really appreciate your support. And you get to be around for our exclusive Patreon-only post show that is starting right now.
Wow.